Hi there, thanks for joining me today. I'm Riley from InMusic, and this video is all about troubleshooting your audio signal and playback from your M-Audio, M-Track Duo or Solo audio interface. Before we get started, if you're simply experiencing audio issues like distortion, clicks and pops, or the like, I created a video for that specifically, which covers topics like buffer size, sample rate, latency, and other causes of glitchy sound. That video also covers the M-Audio Windows driver installation from front to back, which is essential for a properly functioning interface on a PC. In this video, we'll be focusing on what to do if your computer isn't recognizing your interface, if it's behaving erratically, or if you're not hearing any sound from your interface. So let's get started with Mac computers. In your DAW, or digital audio workstation, if you're experiencing issues like disconnection, audio dropouts, and glitches, deleting your Mac's audio preferences can solve the problem. In Finder, go to Preferences, and click on Sidebar. And make sure Hard Disks is checked off. Now open a Finder window, and you'll see your hard drive in your sidebar. It's usually named Mac HD or Macintosh HD. So click on your hard drive, open the Library folder, then Preferences, then Audio. In the Audio folder, delete the two .plist files it contains. Next, open the Go menu and hold the Option or Alt key on your keyboard to reveal the Library folder in this menu. In this Library folder, once again, go to Preferences and look for a file titled com.apple.audio.audio-midi-setup.plist. Also delete this file. Now just empty the recycle bin of the deleted files and restart your Mac to complete resetting its audio preferences. Once your computer reboots, open up your DAW and try playing some audio to see if the problem is gone. Let's shift over to Windows for a minute. Since PCs use drivers with external devices, an out-of-date driver can hinder your sound output. If you can't find your interface as an option in your DAW or audio settings, or if you're generally having issues with hearing any sound playback, it could mean your M-Track isn't connecting to your computer due to outdated drivers. Open the Windows Settings menu, then search for Device Manager and open it. This is where all of your computer's audio devices, USB ports, display cards, networks and Wi-Fi adapters, and much more can be viewed and checked for functionality. Scroll down to Sound, Video, and Game Controllers and open the dropdown. You'll see your M-Track, your computer's internal audio device, and any other sound devices you use with your computer here. If the speaker icon next to your M-Track has an alert graphic, like this black arrow we see here, right-click the device and hit Properties. In this case, the graphic means that my M-Track is disabled as a device, so just click Enable Device, click Next, then click Finish. Now your M-Track should appear as an available audio input and output device in your computer and DAW. If the alert graphic you see is a yellow triangle like this means the driver isn't installed for your M-Track, or it's out of date. The most recent version of the Windows M-Track driver is required to use your interface with a PC. The video I mentioned at the beginning covers each step of the driver installation process, so watch that if you're installing the driver for the first time. To simply check if your driver is out of date, open the M-Audio driver control panel. You can find it in the M-Audio folder in the Windows menu. So the version I have installed is 1.0.2. Open your web browser and go to m-audio.com and go to Support, Drivers and Updates. In the columns, select USB audio and MIDI interfaces, then either M-Track Duo or Solo, depending on which one you have, and your operating system. Then click Show Results. So it turns out my driver is out of date, since the most recent version here is 1.0.3 and mine is 1.0.2. All I have to do is click Download Now, and then run the installer to update it. You won't need to uninstall the previous driver version. The installer takes care of that for you. While we're in Windows settings, it's also not a bad idea to check for system updates using Windows Update. Just search for Check for Updates in the Settings menu. This is where Windows will list any available software updates for your system. Download any pending updates you have here to ensure that all your computer's software and processes are also running their latest versions. On Windows, another common occurrence that can cause playback issues with your interface is a mismatch in sample rate. So if I open my interface's driver control panel, you can see that a sample rate of 44.1 kHz is selected. However, this isn't the only place your interface's sample rate can be changed. In addition to being able to change it directly in your DAW, there's another location in Windows that's important to check. In the taskbar, right-click on the speaker icon and click Open Sound Settings. Firstly, make sure your interface is selected as your output and input device. Click Device Properties, Additional Device Properties, and open the Advanced tab. So here, we can see that the sample rate matches what we see in the driver control panel and in the DAW. It's rare that these settings will be different, but if they are, you won't get any audio from your interface at all, so it's worth checking. If the sample rate is different in either your DAW or in the Advanced Settings tab, click its drop-down menu and select the sample rate you see in the driver control panel. Additionally, make sure both of these boxes, one for allowing apps to take exclusive device control and another for prioritizing exclusive mode apps, are unchecked. Leaving these boxes checked can allow an unwanted app to take hold of the interface's settings. Note that if you're using a high sample rate, like 192 kHz, some audio programs you use may not be able to accommodate that setting and will automatically change it to one it can handle without you noticing. Once you perform this initial check, it's a good idea to go back and check these settings again after opening any of the audio programs in your setup to see if one of them is causing a change in sample rate. In this case, manually switching it back to the higher sample rate would be required each time you finish using that program. On both Mac and PC, your buffer size and latency settings can also be a cause of mismatched or delayed audio. Generally speaking, a buffer size of somewhere between 256 and 512 samples is a solid starting point for most machines and situations. When mixing or mastering a project, using a high buffer size will provide more processing power for your project's tracks, plugins, and automation, but results in higher latency, so the audio you hear from your headphones or speakers may appear to be delayed compared to what you see playing on screen. This doesn't negatively affect your project in any way, but if you wish for a closer correspondence between your sound and your screen, try lowering the buffer size a little and play something to test it until you're happy with it. Like I said in the beginning, be sure to check out that video I mentioned for a deeper dive into adjusting sample rate and buffer size in your setup. So, those are some steps you can take if you're having trouble with your M-Audio M-Tracks audio signal and playback. You'll find more resources and customer support in the description of this video, so go visit those links for additional information that's more tailored to your specific setup. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.